What if I told you, the moment you start becoming successful, you'll start losing people? Not because you changed into a bad person, not because you became arrogant, but because growth has a price. And most people are not willing to pay it. Here's the scary truth nobody wants to say out loud. The higher you climb, the quieter your life becomes. Fewer calls, fewer invitations, fewer people who truly understand you. And if you don't understand why this happens, you might mistake loneliness for failure, when in reality, it could be proof that you're evolving. But here's the part most people never realize. There's one hidden reason successful people stay alone, and once you understand it, you'll never fear loneliness again. Stay until the end, because the final truth might completely change how you see your own life. Imagine this. You're in your early 20s. You decide to stop wasting time. You stop partying every weekend. You stop scrolling endlessly. You start waking up earlier, reading more, working harder, building something meaningful. At first, everyone claps for you. Wow, good for you. You're so disciplined. You're inspiring. But then something strange happens. The moment your discipline becomes consistent, people begin pulling away. Why? Because your growth becomes a reminder of what they are not doing. And most people hate mirrors. Your ambition forces people to question themselves. Your discipline exposes excuses. Your consistency becomes uncomfortable. And uncomfortable truths, people avoid them. That's why successful people often become isolated. Not because they hate people, but because growth naturally creates separation. Real life example. Look at Elon Musk. Before becoming one of the world's most influential entrepreneurs, he spent years obsessively working, sometimes sleeping at the office floor. Most people called him crazy. Some doubted him. Some laughed at him. But success demanded sacrifice, and sacrifice often feels lonely. Here's something nobody warns you about. Sometimes you outgrow conversations. You stop enjoying gossip. Drama feels exhausting. Fake friendships become obvious. And suddenly, you feel disconnected. Not because you're broken, but because your priorities changed. But wait, there's an even darker reason successful people stay alone. And it has nothing to do with ambition. It has everything to do with trust. Here's a painful truth. The more successful you become, the harder it becomes to know who genuinely cares about you. When you have nothing, people ignore you. But when you start winning, suddenly, everybody appears. Everyone supports you. Everyone believes in you. At least, that's what it looks like. But success attracts attention. And attention attracts hidden intentions. Some people love your energy. Others love your opportunities. Some admire your mindset. Others just want access. And this is where loneliness quietly enters. Because successful people begin asking dangerous questions. Do they love me? Or what I can offer? Would they still stay if everything disappeared tomorrow? Who was there before the success? That fear creates emotional distance. And sometimes, walls. Real-life example. Look at many professional athletes. Fame changes relationships. Money changes friendships. Success changes expectations. Many successful people admit the hardest part wasn't making money. It was figuring out who was real. And maybe you've already felt this yourself. Maybe you started improving your life, and suddenly people acted different. Some became cold, some became jealous, some disappeared. That hurts. But maybe it's not rejection. Maybe it's redirection. Because what if loneliness isn't punishment? What if it's preparation? And this next part might be the most important lesson in this entire video. Let's be honest, nobody likes being alone. Humans are wired for connection. But here's what separates average people from extraordinary people. Extraordinary people learn how to sit alone and still keep moving, because solitude creates clarity. When the noise disappears, you hear yourself, your real fears, your real dreams, your real priorities. Think about it. How many people spend their entire lives distracted, always surrounded, always entertained, always escaping silence? Because silence is terrifying. Silence forces truth. And truth hurts. But successful people face it. They sit in uncomfortable rooms. They spend weekends working. They sacrifice temporary fun for long-term freedom. And yes, sometimes it feels lonely. But loneliness can either destroy you or build you. It depends on what you do with it. Real-life example. During difficult periods, many entrepreneurs worked alone for years before anyone noticed them. No applause, no audience, no recognition, just discipline, just belief, just persistence. People only celebrate success at the finish line. Nobody celebrates the lonely nights. Nobody sees the invisible struggle, the self-doubt, the fear, the sacrifice. But that invisible phase, that's where transformation happens. Still, there's one mistake many ambitious people make when they become lonely. And if you make this mistake, success may cost you everything. Listen carefully. Being alone and being isolated are not the same thing. Successful people often walk alone. But smart, successful people, they choose their circle carefully. You don't need many people. You need real people. The friend who tells you the truth. The mentor who challenges you. The partner who believes in your vision. The people who support growth, not comfort. Because here's the danger. Some people become lonely, then bitter. They stop trusting everyone. They shut the world out. They become emotionally numb. That's not strength. That's survival mode. Real strength means staying open. Without becoming naive, protect your energy, but don't kill your heart. Build standards, not walls. Remember this. You are not meant to be understood by everyone. Some people will misunderstand your ambition. Some will call you obsessed. Others will call you selfish. Let them. Because average people often judge extraordinary commitment, and extraordinary results require extraordinary sacrifice. But here comes the hardest truth of all. The reason success feels lonely might actually be your fault. And before you click away, you need to hear this. Sometimes loneliness isn't caused by others. Sometimes we create it ourselves. Because growth changes identity, and identity change is painful. You stop fitting old environments. Old habits feel strange. Old conversations feel meaningless. But instead of building new connections, many people stay stuck in emotional limbo. Too evolved for the old life, too scared for the new one. So they drift, alone, confused, disconnected. If this feels personal, good, because awareness changes everything. Here's the truth. Success doesn't demand loneliness. Success demands alignment. Sometimes that means losing people. Sometimes that means changing rooms. Sometimes that means starting over. But eventually, you find your tribe. People who think bigger, dream bigger, move differently. People who understand sacrifice. People who understand discipline. People who don't get threatened by growth. And when that happens, everything changes. So, why do successful people stay alone? Because growth creates distance. Because trust becomes harder. Because solitude builds strength. Because extraordinary goals require extraordinary focus. But most importantly, because becoming someone different means leaving parts of your old life behind. And yes, that can feel painful. But don't confuse loneliness with failure. Sometimes the lonely chapter of your life is the chapter where you're becoming who you were meant to be. So if you feel alone right now, maybe life isn't punishing you. Maybe life is preparing you for bigger opportunities, bigger responsibilities, a stronger version of yourself. But remember this, don't just chase success. Become someone worthy of it. And one day, the loneliness you fear today will become the story that made you stronger. If this video spoke to you, if even one part felt personal, hit the like button. Subscribe to NexZen Mode for more dark motivation, mindset shifts, and life-changing truths. And remember, stay focused, stay dangerous, and keep moving forward.